Hello, and welcome to a new podcast called the Box Fox Podcast with your host, me, Natalie. So, on this podcast, I will be talking about junior series of racing mostly, like F4, F3, saloon cars, BTCC, stuff like that. Sometimes maybe F1, but not all the time. I'll hopefully be posting every week, maybe sometimes 2 or 3 times a week, depending on if I can or not. So I came up with the idea of starting a podcast through watching the Friday Night F4 podcast that's done by British F4, and ever since I started becoming interested in F4, I thought of like looking into doing something with the series or just being a fan of it. So I thought, why not do a podcast and like let people know stuff about it, and let's just hope this podcast goes well. So hopefully maybe a few times I am going to try get some drivers to come on this podcast and just tell me a bit about how they find racing, like what's the series like, what's being over the winter like, the summer break, stuff like that. Anyways, moving on from the podcast, we're going to get down and start the podcast now. And today I'm going to be talking about the British F4 Championship. So today I'm going to be talking about British F4, and I'm going to tell you all the names of the drivers and the teams for the 2025 season that has just finished. I will also be talking about the races I've been to and my favourite drivers, and I will also be letting you know how I got to know the sport. So there are 10 teams, not there are 10, there were 10 teams for the 2025 season of British F4. So to start off with, we have High Tech, who had Finn McLaughlin, Xavier Avramedes, Thomas Behrman, Joseph Smith, and they also did have Leo Robinson. Next up, we have JHR, who had Rowan Campbell-Pilling, Joel Bergstrom, Harry Reynolds, Hani Sadiq, and Esme Costerman. We also have Rodin, who had Jimmy Pasiek, Adam Alazari, Dries van Langendonk, Ella Lloyd, Guy Albag, and they also had Chloe Chong for the Snetterton round. Next we have Argenti, who had Henry Mercier, Ethan Jeff Hall, August Raber, and Arjun Kraling. We also had Fortec, who had Thomas Ingram Hill, Henry Jocelyn, and Ari Bansal. Next we have Virtuosi, who had Alexandra Savinkov, Martin Molnar, and Salim Hanna. Next we have XL, who had Theo Palmer, Cole Hewitson, Yu Hao Fu, and Chase Fernandez. And finally we had CDR, or as known Chris Dittman Racing, we had Charlie Edge, Tommy Harfield, Peter Orzechowski, and Alba Larson. So not all of these drivers did every round this year. So you could have the rookies who did all the rounds. You also had the Challenge Cup. This was for the drivers who couldn't either afford or couldn't make it to all of the rounds. So they did 7 of the 10 or how many ever they could do. But one driver, Tommy Harfield, he was doing the Challenge Cup, but then he went to do another round, so he came out of the Challenge Cup. So, my favourite drivers for this year were Charlie Edge, Jimmy Pasiek, no, not Jimmy. So my favourite drivers in the British F4 Championship 2025, I had Finn McLaughlin, Rowan Campbell-Pilling, Harry Reynolds, Peter Orzechowski, and Charlie Edge. So starting off with Finn McLaughlin is a rookie for the 2025 season of British F4. He also won the Rookie Cup and he also won the championship overall. He is a Red Bull Junior driver, a very, very good Red Bull Junior driver, and for the 2026 season he will be moving to F3. So next up we have Rowan Campbell-Pilling. Rowan is a driver who did last season with Argenti. I did follow him last year as well, but this year he was with JHR. I have to say he has improved. He is an 18-year-old driver. He is one of the sweetest on the grid. Honestly, you can just probably sit there for an hour having a conversation with Rowan. He is really, really funny. Next we have Peter Orzechowski. I have only ever talked to this guy once, but he is a very, very nice person to talk to. He's a man of very few words as well. Like, the conversation was like, hello, how are you? How was the race? Basically that. I did walk into him on accident, but we don't talk about that. But yeah, he is one of the sweetest person on the grid, and I really, really hope he does next season. We also have Harry Reynolds. At the Snetterton round, I had a t-shirt with Harry's face on it, and I thought it would be a funny idea to get him to sign it, and if he wanted to wear it. My sister told him about this that I'd done the day before, on the Saturday of the BTCC. He honestly, apparently, couldn't stop laughing because he thought it was a very funny idea and couldn't wait to see it. So the next day I turned up because I only went for the Sunday. Turned up, I literally walked in to like the paddock and he was just standing there shouting, "Where's the top?" And I was like, "Oh, okay, Harry." So I got it out. He started falling in love with it. I do have a photo with him, so if I do get to interview him or someone, I will put the top on display. But yeah, he is honestly one of the sweetest guys on the grid. He only did do the Donington round, but he did like do mechanicking for people for the other rounds. He was helping out at Snetterton. Well, helping out meaning he was just helping warming up. But yeah, he is really, really sweet. And finally, we have Charlie Edge. Charlie is a very, very decent driver, I have to say. He is a rookie. He was also doing the Challenge Cup. But he has improved since the first Donington round. I will say that. He's a very young, talented driver who I feel has a lot of potential if he would stay on the route that he's going. I mean, even just coming from karting and then going straight into F4 is very surprising from some drivers that they do that, because some of them do like Ginettas and stuff, not normally karting straight to single seaters, but it's a good push for him because he's obviously a driver who's very talented, has a lot of potential. Sometimes with drivers it's budget, because it is a lot for just one season of F4, and if you're crashing and stuff, it's even harder, which I'm not saying Chedge is a bad person at like doing well. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore, but I have got close with Charlie recently. Very nice person. Easy to talk to, easy to interview. My sister did interview him at Donington, as did many people. But yeah, he's a driver who I feel could do a lot, like in the upcoming years, depending on what he does next season. He's also very, very sweet, very, very kind. Even like his first podium at Donington, I was like, whoa, from not a very high start in the season, he's improved a lot. So I am now going to go through the 2025 championship standings for the end of the season. So first we had obviously Finn McLaughlin. Second we had Jimmy Pazik. Third we had Martin Molnar. Fourth we had Tommy Harfield. 5 we had Ethan Jeff Hall. 6 we had Adam Alazari. 7th we had August Raber. 8th we had Thomas Spearman. 9th we had Henry Jocelyn. 10th we had Rowan Campbell-Pilling. 11th we had Ari Bansal. 12th we had Leo Robinson. 13th we had Chase Fernandez. 14th we had Ella Lloyd. 15th we had Xavier Avramides. 16th Cole Hewitson. 17th Henry Mercier. 18th Theo Palmer, 19th Salim Hanna, 20th Joel Bergstrom, 21st Dries van Langendonk, 22 Charlie Edge, 23rd Alba Larsen, 24th Alexandra Savinkov, 25th Yuhao Fu, 26th Arjun Kraling, 27th Thomas Ingram Hill, 28th Guy Albag, 29th Joseph Smith, 30th Emma Feldbeimer, I think that's how you say it, 31st Harry Reynolds, 32nd Nina Gaidman, 33rd Peter Ozachowski, 34th Hani Sadiq, 35th Esme Costerman, and finally 36th Chloe Chong. So the drivers that were going into the Rookie Cup and who are in the Rookie Cup, from 1st down to 16th, we had Finn McLaughlin, Thomas Behrman, Cole Hewitson, Theo Palmer, Xavier Avramidis, Henry Mercier, Alba Larsen, Arjun Kraling, Charlie Edge, Dries van Langendonk, Joseph Smith, Salim Hanna, Hani Sadiq, Emma Felbermeyer, Guy Albag, and then Peter Ozachowski. For the Challenge Cup, we had Ari Bansal, Ella Lloyd, Charlie Edge, Alba Larsen, Arjun Kraling, Joseph Smith, Tommen? I can't speak today. Thomas Ingram Hill, Hani Sadiq, Salim Hanna, Harry Reynolds, and then Nina Gaidman. So the team standings were Rodin Motorsports, Hi-Tech, Argenti, Virtuosi, Fortec, CDR, JHR, and then XL. So for the 2025 season, my favourite team was probably Chris Dittman Racing. It is not everyone's favourite team because it's a team quite low down, but they had really good driver lineup this year. They had Tommy, who was doing very well. They had Alba, who did F4, and she's also in F1 Academy. So the girls, like, basically F1. They had Peter Ozachowski, who did the last 3 rounds, I think. And then they had Charlie Edge. I have to say the lineup for the British F4 season 2025, it was very competitive for the last few rounds, and all of the drivers were like getting into the sport, because most of the time some of the drivers are like, yeah, I'm here, I've raced, I'm going home now, but they all got involved in like the racing and talking to the fans and all the drivers' signings and stuff like that. So this is how I got into British F4. So I started like looking into it at the middle of last season, because my sister, as you probably know, Izzy on the Apex, she makes crochet drivers. They're very, very good, and some of them are very, very funny. But yeah, she went to the Snetterton round last year, and she fell in love with it. And she started talking to me about it, and I was thinking, oh, I'm going to have a look into it. So it was basically just because of my sister. But then I started looking into it this season, and I absolutely fell in love with it. It is a very inclusive series. It's not like F1 where you have to get your paddock passes. It's an open paddock. And it's really nice to meet the drivers, because they all have different background stories of racing. And they're just overall really, really nice people. So, I think that's going to be the end of this podcast. I will be posting again. This one probably wasn't very exciting because it was just like the first one. But hopefully it gets more exciting from here. I will be getting some drivers on, hopefully, and I'll be talking about like different things like TCRs, saloon cars, trucks, BTCC, stuff like that. Ginetta Juniors, that's also one of my favourites. But yeah, so thanks for listening. Bye.